why party at the end of the week, or we can party on a Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Party on a Podcast. We have yet another dope artist, and tonight, the homie's been around as long as I've been in the industry. And I mean, if you know me, I've been around for, I don't even want to date myself now, but this guy's been making dope music, and his style is different from anybody in this city that I've ever seen. His writing, his flow, articulation. Go check out his music after, but ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Baseline.
What's up, Winston? Appreciate all the nice words, man. What's good?
It's from the heart, man. This, what I've been telling a lot of people, like, this is a way for me to talk to people that I don't normally talk to and haven't actually had a real conversation with.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, and what I say, if you haven't heard any of the episodes, it's like the only time we ever talk as artists, especially as rappers, is at shows. And it's like, hey, let's do a collab sometime. Yeah, sure, let's do that. Let's link up later.
Yeah.
That's the end of the conversation. So, I mean,
yeah,
this is a way for me to open up at least the conversation and let people know who you are, whether they check it out or not. But I mean, it's an opportunity to learn who you are aside from just being a rapper, but at the same time, why you're so passionate about being an artist and everything like that, and what you're passionate about. So,
oh yeah, for sure. You know, those club link ups never happen, right? Like, yeah, let's do a record, man. Let's do something. Never happens. Never, right?
It never happens, and I've never understood it. It just, and I always hated doing it, because then, like, even if I was the one to message, like, the day after, it'd be like, either no answer, or it's like, oh, sorry, I'm busy right now.
Yeah.
Whatever the story is, you know the story.
Yeah, everybody's too big, man. That's what it is, right? Once you start rapping, you're like, your ego inflates, man, and then you're just like, nah, I'm too big to mess with Epidemic or Mark. My bad. Name change for you, right? Yeah.
But I mean, but that's also it. I mean, like, I hated the ego in this city, because it saturates this entire industry around here. It just makes it so unattractive almost.
Yeah.
I just never, like, as growing up and going through the industry, as I'm sure you've done, you've seen a lot of changes. But one thing that hasn't changed is the ability for people to put their ego to the side.
Yeah.
And truly just connect or work together or build the scene. I mean, there has been opportunities and there has been times, but they come in like once in a blue moon. Like, they're not consistent, and they just don't happen all the time. And for us to want to be recognized on the East Coast and have Halifax be a bumping rap scene, or even like music scene, we got to do that shit. And that shit just doesn't happen because, well, ego's one thing. That's we don't need to go on a list of that.
Oh man, you can go on a tangent forever, right? But the big thing is, like, I think it's hard for artists, right? Because artists always look at other artists as their, like, support system, like the ecosystem that should keep them evolving. But it's really about building fans, right? Because an artist isn't going to want to share your music 9 times out of 10. Like, even if it's like for the slight chance that it might be better than what they're putting out, and like they don't want to, like, kind of like. But if you're a different artist, though, like if me and you got 2 different styles, and then let's collaborate, let's link, let's work. But if me and you are very similar, then the collaboration doesn't really make that much sense, right? So I think sometimes artists need to get their head about that too. It's like, if me and you got the same style, why do we need to collaborate? Essentially, right? Unless we can, what do you add to the track that's different than,
and that's just it.
What I could do, right?
There has to be a reason to the collaboration. There has to be a value to the collaboration.
100%, yeah.
It's funny because we actually had a track way back. Back when TMG was TMG.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember the song.
It popped up in, like, either by History or something, like Birthday Suit was what it was called.
Birthday Suit, yeah. Probably out of both of our lanes. Like, a little bit, right?
It felt so unnatural creating something like that, especially at that point in my life. I was like, there's no reason for this. But anyways, get into the interview, I guess, more than anything. But background dive. Where did Baseline all start? Origin story of Baseline, and why Baseline?
Origin, yeah, Origin, Dartmouth, man. That's born and raised, right? Dartmouth to the fullest, right? Uh, used to just start freestyling, rapping with buddies when we were like probably like 13, 14 and all that stuff. Didn't take it serious until like the Elements League, which I'm sure you're familiar with. I was probably like 18 when I did my first battle in there. Started battling for a few years in there. Uh, Battling wasn't necessarily like my move, wasn't what I thought I was
Right.
good at the time, right? But it was a good, it taught me structure and taught me actually how to write rhymes and actually be witty and clever with punchlines and stuff, which you can kind of hear in my style now, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did that for a few years, man, and then just really just randomly did songs here and there, kind of like I do now, man. Like it's not like it was like a full blown like act. It's just like I just kind of randomly put things out, but uh and then did shows around the city, man. I did kind of everything. Like it's like I've collaborated with anybody and everybody throughout the city and all that stuff. Probably like a household name with like your rappers. When people say like your favorite rapper, like I might
Yeah.
be in that category essentially, right? But
Yeah.
no, just man, just kind of like dugging it out, man. Just kind of just still working on music in the side. Uh, Recently just started getting more active with it and actually finding like my purpose with it, I guess, with
Yeah.
the penmanship and all that stuff. And uh, that's pretty much it, man. And I've done countless shows. Like I've been out, man, like just doing things, doing random things, right?
But that, I mean,
Yeah,
that's half the battle sometimes, man. And get
yeah,
and
yeah,
even being able to be as much as you would joke about being your favorite rapper's rapper,
yeah,
like that's to be in that conversation is even is still around here like a household name because
yeah.
if people know you around here, there's a good chance that name may be spoken in bigger or other places. It's just the fact
100%.
that
Yeah,
yeah, like I mean, I've I've never really searched it in the sense of like wanting to be known in like that people know about me. It's cool when you find out that people do or have heard about you or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But other than that, I mean, for me, it's just it's dope to be recognized around here as being somebody that's stood out.
yeah, yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying, right? And I never looked at music as like, yo, this is gonna be my career path. Like this is what I'm gonna go make money off of. Because clearly, you go to a show, you got 50 rappers in the crowd, and everybody's doing it. So like, as much as it would be nice, it'd be dope to do those things. I still
Yeah,
look at it as an art form. Like it's still a
yeah,
form of expression and a stress relief for me. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it's not
yeah.
like I'm out here trying to craft the next like TikTok single and all that stuff. I'm just doing it because I enjoy doing it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
It's real though. I mean, and when you say that, like, I had to not that I think I'm gonna be the biggest rapper or biggest artist in the world either. That was never the goal because I mean, it was a way of me venting. I always like I dreamed about it potentially happening, but I knew when I was seeing the work ethic of the people that were making it, I knew
yeah,
mine. I just knew that my work ethic, whether the people on this that are gonna listen to this podcast want to believe, I knew I couldn't match it. I knew it in
yeah,
my
yeah,
soul that I couldn't match it. It would be on a whim, on a like a finding a Justin Bieber video that anything ever happens.
yeah, yeah,
And it was and now more than ever it's just important for my mental health
yeah, yeah,
and getting that shit out and that's where and you say finding purpose, this whole podcast has become an awakening for me because it's become a way of me venting but also finding out what doesn't work for other people, what doesn't work for other artists, but what worked for them and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff. So I mean, this is almost like rehabilitating in a way as well because it just allows me to at least get other opinions on the scene, especially around here.
oh yeah,
And it's just it's nice. And I mean, as cliche as it sounds, it's refreshing to hear how humble and how down to earth the people are around here and even outside of here. that they're willing to just start, I mean, just put the music out there nowadays, especially with the way that the internet's gone. I've gone on a
Oh yeah.
tangent now, man.
Nah, man. I'm not. No, I know what you're saying, man. Like it's a lot of times too with artists, right? So we might see each other, say at a show,
Mhm.
or even just cross paths online because that's been like the club and that's been the show atmosphere for the last year and a half, 2 years, and all that stuff, right? And every rapper is just they feel entitled, right? They feel entitled to your energy, right? So they think that okay, if I walk in a room, like you should say what's up to me, I shouldn't say what's up to you,
Yeah.
essentially, right? And so then it creates this like again, it inflates the ego, right? But they don't realize that he might actually be a fan of yours. He might have heard something of yours just because he didn't maybe share it on Facebook or Instagram doesn't mean that like that person didn't check your music out, right? And
Right.
they might even put it on a playlist and listen to it every other day, but you don't know that because you're so caught up in like everybody trying to be like that top dog, that top person in
Yeah.
the room. Everybody wants it, right? But nobody looks at like the biggest goal in mind, right? Like say you take Quake, right?
Yep.
Quake's last run he did for this Myth X album was top notch, man. It's like one of the best like promotional runs I've seen ever from an East Coast artist / Canadian artist and all that stuff. And like as much as everybody locally fucks with him, there's still those people locally that are like, man, he's not it. He's not, you know what I mean? When this guy is giving his blood,
Yeah.
sweat, and tears for everything he's accomplished so far. And like the problem with why the East Coast doesn't like say maybe like the Bay Area over in like California, right? They're a very tight knit community. They support each other and things like that. Here, we're not so much that. And so, like someone like Quake, if we had the support of the whole province and really everybody rooting and wanting you to win, man, he'd probably take off to like way higher heights than he's at and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's just simple. You can't get out of that like crab in a bucket mentality. And at the end of the day, it's the East Coast. Like hip hop still isn't the number one genre down here, right?
No.
Like we're still
No.
not even close. You know what I mean? Like it's and so that's what you're battling against. You're battling against variables that you can't even. I butchered that word, by the way. Variables. But you're battling against things that like you don't even know are holding you back, right? It's not just necessarily the people around you. It's literally where you're from is
exactly. Yeah.
the resistant force, right? Yeah.
It's something that I don't know if I'll ever understand or if we'll ever change. I mean, it's got to change.
Yeah.
It needs to change in the terms of getting artists to where they deserve to be. And it's just what I mean, one day maybe it'll all work out, but who knows.
Yeah, I think even if you just look at like you take ownership of like where you're at, right? So I can take ownership of where I'm at like as an artist because I know, hey, I didn't put in 250% with this thing the whole time I stepped into the genre, you know what I mean, or like the art form. And then someone like say Quake has put 250% in this whole fucking time. And so the person who comes in and puts in 1% all of a sudden just feels they should be in a higher slot or like slated higher in that top 5 slot or whatever over somebody who's been going 250 this whole time is part of that resistance too, you know what I mean? Like
with all that being said, inspirations, I guess. So I like with inspirations, I like to do then versus now. Like when you first started, who was your main inspirations that got you going, made you want to be that artist, and what is your inspirations now if they've changed?
I would say honestly, when I first got into it, like my neighborhood, my homies, like everybody around, like Thriller was a driving force too, you know what I mean? Like because when I was coming up, well, when I started, Thriller was in a group called CHD, man, and then like they lived up the street from me, and they were killing it, man. Like every person had a burnt CD with their music on it, you know what I mean, in high school, and like they were like, and he's been putting out quality content like his whole life, right? Like he won't tell you that. He won't tell you that, but like honestly, man, he's been good since day one. I haven't been good since day one. You know what I mean? Like, but like just kind of just like, and then the people like I grew up around, like that will come to the battles and show support for me and kind of root for me and all that stuff. And then we're standing in those corners. Like those are the people that kind of drove me to keep pushing further. 100%. And then obviously it changes, right? The influence changes, like everything with time changes, right? Eventually you move on, and now I'd say the driving force ever since I had a kid, like my daughter, is a big part of my life. And if anybody follows me on Instagram, Facebook, anything, you'll see that. Like it's just, you probably see more baby
Yeah.
stuff than you do me, right? And so and just I guess being honest within music, because that's going to be left behind when I'm gone. And
Hmm.
so once she realizes what her dad actually has left and done and told stories and showed a form of expression, she can go back and she got archives to see where
Yeah.
I was at in parts
Yeah.
of life. So now it's just being, that's the inspiration, is just being truthful and honest and create dope music that lasts, that you can go back and someone in my family could go back and say, hey, yo, my granddad was this like rapper from Nova Scotia, right? When they do the little
It's
ancestry.
but I mean
Yeah.
that's the crazy shit. Like I that didn't even cross my mind, but that would be the coolest shit ever, I think.
Yeah.
Because you do that simple shit like ancestry.com for whatever, no plug, whatever. But
Yeah.
like that's that shit would pop up. Your music would pop up in that shit.
Yeah. You'd be perfect. You go
It's
to the
fucking
website,
cool
get
as
all
shit. Because I mean,
all show
you think about
photos.
now,
Yeah.
all it is like articles in the newspaper and school photos or some shit that's online for
Yeah.
whatever ancestors we have now. But it's like you
Yeah.
look at like 50 years, 60, 100 years in the future, and it's like
Yeah.
that's what it's gonna be. It's all gonna be digital, obviously, but I mean
Yeah.
everything's
All
gonna,
screen grabs, right? Like,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But
that's
that's what
cool,
it
man.
is, right? Yeah,
Yep.
it's we're an age where we can tell a different story of our
Yeah.
legacy and everything. We're the narrative. Like we
Yeah.
explain it. We don't need to
Yep.
get like, because now if you were to do ancestry, you got to try to connect with somebody who might have known somebody in your family. So now you're getting third party information. Like my daughter can look me up and see what I'm saying. She can pull this up,
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
what her dad was saying. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some cool shit. So what do you think helps you stand out as an artist? What do you think
Uh,
at like baseline? What makes baseline stand out? That's baseline. Like what would you say is different from marked to baseline? Like what makes you baseline, I guess?
I would say my flexibility to like kind of bounce between, because a lot of people kind of look at me as like a hip hop head, like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
lyrical, like he's a boom bapper, like and but then some of the beat selections I choose is more like current, like I'll get on some trappy beats, like I'll mix it up and all that stuff, and I kind of walk that line, you know what I mean? I'm in the balance of like I could go full boom bap if I wanted to, I could go full kind of like
Versatile.
trap, versatile, right? And I think it's just my tone of voice is different, and you'll see on this new album that I'm working on that like I've really played with that a lot.
Oh, oh,
Yeah. And so this new album, we'll talk about it in a bit or whatever, but like it's my baby, man. I've been talking about doing an album for a while, but you see that versatility, and I show like my ear. I think like my beat selection alone is like I choose the right beats that complement me,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
And it takes
which a lot of
time. It takes
artists,
time to figure
yeah.
that out.
Oh, big time, man.
I
Yeah,
bet
yeah,
I took a long time figuring that out. I wrote over some dumbass beats and even put
yeah,
out music within like the last 5 years. And I'm like, why
yeah,
did I do that? Because
yeah. What
it
happened?
yeah. Because now I'm seeing it as like that could have been a completely different beat and could have flipped the entire thing. But
Man,
all the same, I mean, that's part of the process. It's part of the learning curve, and it's part of growth as an artist. You're finding out who you are, what you like writing about,
yeah,
how you like to do it, and what kind of style beats suit you and
yeah.
work well. Yeah,
Oh, it's a process, man. Like it's even if you were like you probably got songs, Birthday Suit being one of them, sitting on your
yeah.
hard drive
Yeah.
that may never see the light of day.
Yep.
And some people would say, "Yo, put that out." Like, why are you sitting on music? You know what I mean? Like, I told my wife she has explicit, like she has instructions on who to give my hard drive to with the files. Like, you know what I mean? If I
Yeah.
go, knock on wood, man, I want something done with this stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just like give it to
Yeah.
somebody so it doesn't just sit there, right? But
Yeah. No, that's legit. Because I mean, like I know right now I'm sitting on quite a bit, and it's just like, and I was talking to Megs earlier today about it, and it's like I'm sitting on so much. I don't know why I just don't just like a photo dump and just let it all
yeah,
go. But
let it
it's
fly,
like
man.
It's either some stuff doesn't suit me now and it doesn't make sense for it to go, but then
Yeah.
again, it may not be. But then another thought comes in. It's like, what if somebody else is dealing with that kind of shit in their life right now, and that does affect
100%.
somebody? It may not be my story to tell at that point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, that's what it is, right? Like everybody takes something from, it could be literally one line you said in Birthday Suit that resonated with somebody. You know what I mean? That's
that
me my
never
reference point.
released, by the way.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's what I mean. So, but like it could be, I'm probably
Oh,
happy
I
too
got
because
you.
I
I
haven't
got
heard
you. I
my
got you.
verse, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. But like any piece, you don't know what you might hate it, right? And then I think that's a problem with artists, and this is why, say, like I'm a late bloomer compared to like some other artists around here, is because I hold on to everything on the computer until recently. I'm like, yo, I gotta let some of this go, man, because if you're not gonna build that consistency, and if you have no mute, it's like the Russ point. And I know everybody like can't be Russ, and it's not gonna work for everybody, but he's like, by the time that one single took off, I had 5-6 albums, if not more, that people could go to afterwards. So they just found me, they just connected with me. Cool. Now instead of getting one song that has 100 million streams, now you can go through my whole back catalog of stuff, right? And if you don't have a back catalog, you just have that one song. How do people? How's it going to be long lasting, right?
Fair enough. Yeah, and that definitely makes sense. I mean, I've just like, and I've been holding off on putting out. I don't know why, but I've been holding off on putting out an actual album forever. I don't think I've dropped an actual album yet as an artist. They've all been either mixtapes or EPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, what's stopping me? It's like I feel like it's just that the one cohesive project that I need to make in order for that ball to start rolling with albums, and it's just like I haven't hit that consistency with the amount of content that I want to put into one album or one project that feels like an album. And all these people are putting out like Mitchell Bailey has been putting out albums for years, and so is Quake, and so like everybody else I'm seeing these albums. But like, I mean, I had like a couple years ago I had to stop comparing myself to everybody because I'm not everybody.
You have to.
And it was like, my album will happen when my album is ready to go. It's just the fact that like I got to be able to be disciplined enough to hold in that project, like hold in those tracks enough to put that project out, but those tracks kind of have to make sense in the same timeline as far as like that part of my life. So it's just it's trippy to me that like I've literally been making music for like 15 plus years and haven't put out a single official album. What have you? But
I know what you're saying, man. It's probably been 2 years, if not more, probably more actually. Now I think about it. EST since 902 was like my first technical album or whatever. But and to me, I watch a lot of YouTube interviews, everything. You know what I mean? Podcasts, listen to everything.
Than anything.
Yeah. And so then, in the same mind, like if you don't have enough fans or people checking for that one single, why put that energy into a full album until you built up that fan base and you cultivated that demand for like you to want a full album? So it's just like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves that, hey, we need to put an album out. We need to put an album out because that's just a small goal that we want to do. We feel like we need to have that as kind of like it's an accolade essentially to have an album, right?
Exactly.
But it's just like if you want to do an album, man, do an album for yourself. And then if people dig it, people dig it, right? But as soon as we drop an album, it doesn't maybe go off where we want it to go, and then we instantly beat ourselves up. And then you go in a slump for so long, right? But it's hard to not everybody.
Why.
Oh, 100, and that's why you're pushing off the album. You know what I mean? Like you're pushing it off because you're like, yo, man, I'm gonna be like mad depressed. Like I'm gonna be so happy.
It's the expectation of that first album, dude. I mean, and it's like nothing's gonna beat that for the feeling getting that first album out. And it could just be me being scared shitless of that thing flopping like the biggest shit I've ever had. And it's like I terrified to death that it'll happen. And it's like, what does that mean for my 15 plus years making music? And but at the same time, like I gotta push that shit away because that's gonna be the deterrent the rest of my career if I don't just go for it.
Well, even think about this though. Say you say that's your first album, right? Like you've been working on your first album, and technically, I say my first album's out. But if you were to break into the big industry, right,
Yeah.
and jump from being local and go into it, none of that stuff would even count. You would then have to produce a first album. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
imagine how hard that album would be if you put everything into this one now, right? So it's almost like this is practice. Really, you want to put your best step forward, but then it's just like, okay, then you're gonna really have to like up your game when you actually get your foot in the door, because now you have eyes on you, and they're not gonna count anything before. They might count So Far Gone as Drake's first album, but it's not really his first album. You know what I mean? In the industry, essentially, right? So
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. Shit, man. All right, let's make a complete flip here. When it comes to home life, what's the daily routine?
oh man, up early. I'm up early, like it varies, man. On average,
By
though, it's probably
choice?
was 6 a.m. Yeah. Well, just because I had to live, like I gotta get the baby to daycare for 6:30,
I
and
gotta
then I
live,
gotta
he
be to work
says.
for 7.
I
Yeah,
gotta live.
I gotta pay these bills, man.
Yeah.
Right. And so yeah, so it's just every day, man. 6 a.m. Get the baby up, get her dressed, fed, go to work. We'll drop her off at daycare, go to work, get off work, go pick her up from daycare, get dinner ready. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
that's a day to day life. And then after 8 o'clock, usually is, you know what I mean? Watch the TV, hang with the wifey, do what you got to do. Usually go grocery shopping, cook dinner,
So I'm
things like
impeding on
that,
that
right?
time right now, right?
Nah, man, don't worry, man. Trust me, your time's coming, man. Your time's coming.
Oh,
You're gonna know about the routine
oh,
life.
yeah.
Yeah,
There'll be a whole different
yeah.
definition for it.
Oh man, yeah. We'll have to catch up again after like the
Yeah,
first
oh
3 months, man.
definitely.
Yeah,
2022, I'll give you an update. Yeah.
yeah.
So with everything that's happened over this past year, I just like to touch on people's opinions and perspectives. How do you feel or deal with the live side of shows, like how things have changed over the past year from having live all the time to nothing with the side note of like live streams to transitioning back now to live? How have you dealt with all that? Because I mean, live shows have been a big factor for me just because like that's essentially when I came into this, that's why I wanted to be an artist, because I wanted to have that live aspect and I wanted to be in front of people, to that feeling I can't replicate by recording a track. But
Yeah.
so for you, how has that been, I guess, the transition from doing lives to nothing to live again, or
Man,
eventually live again?
eventually get like, you know what? It didn't really affect me too much because I slowed down. I think, well, my last show would have been, I want to say January 2019. I think was my last show that I did, obviously because of the
Yeah.
pandemic and all that stuff, right? And it was a good show, man. Like it was probably one of my favorite shows I ever did, man. And it was a great crowd interaction. The place was packed, which is very rare for like a local show. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Hell
Like
yeah.
it was a good lineup, and it was like I felt pretty good. I said if that was my last show, and I never got to touch the stage again, I was good with it. Especially because like it was a lot of Dartmouth people in the building. It was like I was
Yeah.
surrounded by like a lot of people that I
That
know and came
hometown
up with
vibe
them.
was just going.
100%. So like I was cool with that, and I'm introverted, man. Like as much as it might not seem that way, like I like to be home. I like to
As
be in the
much as it may not
studio.
seem like it, yeah, of course,
Yeah,
you definitely don't
yeah,
seem that extroverted for sure.
yeah. Oh man, I like if you'll find me at a show, I'll be by myself, just kind of in the
Yeah,
corner. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Bottle of
I
water, just
have,
chilling.
I
Yeah,
have.
yeah. I mean, that's what I like to do, and then I like to dip out when
But
I
I
want to
can't
go,
hate on
man.
that.
Like,
Yeah, it's the
yeah,
same
yeah,
here though. I mean, like I like
yeah,
chatting with people every now and again, people that I haven't seen in a while. So that's what I
yeah,
usually go for when I'm at shows. Otherwise, I'm taking it in and then I'm out.
yeah. I go to support. You know what I mean? Like,
Jeff is the biggest introvert I think I've ever experienced.
yeah,
Like as being an artist, and it's just it was funny this because it's like, dude, I got a set at 8:15. We show up 8 o'clock, did the show. He's like, can we go home? Like, not even want to actually take part in the show at all.
yeah,
Had no disrespect to anybody at the show. It was just the
yeah,
fact
yeah.
that it was
He just
like,
didn't want to be out there.
no, he's not a socialite.
Yeah.
It was at the point where it was like, I just want to go home. I want to be home with my dog. I want to watch my movies
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
live
Yeah.
my life. And
Yeah. Well,
he knew his calling before I knew mine. So
yeah. And that's where I'm at now, man. Like like I said, you got to really, it has to be a good show. Like I think I've been in the game long enough that you can't hustle me with like, yo, you're gonna come open for free and you're gonna get exposure because like a big artist is here. You can't get me with that no more, man. You can't get me with like trying to sell tickets for you. You can't get me with like getting people to like your Facebook page and like, you know what I mean? You can't get me. I'm not doing no contests no more to open up for nobody. You know what I mean? Like
it's
if
so
you
reminiscent, this shit you're saying right now. Yeah.
It needs to be, when live shows are back, it needs to be different than what it was. It needs to be an experience, right? I want promoters to really think about why, like think about the card, right? I don't want to see the same local person on the card every time I go to a show. If you got Crooked Eye from Slaughterhouse come in, I want some MCs that you could make fans in the crowd from, you know what I mean? So maybe Crooked Eye, maybe I'd be a good opener for him, you know what I mean? But say like I opened up for Lloyd before, man, like an R&B singer, like who and I had to break my back to get on that show, man. And then I found out there was like 10 other openers on it, man. And it was like
the thing around here though too. That like
and none of them compliment it, you know what I mean? So that's what I mean. Like, if you're gonna get people out of the house, you're gonna cram people in a venue. You got to really put a conscious effort into like the event you're planning. And I'm not just gonna jump on every show because, like I said, I'm at a different stage in my life that like I like creating in my house. I like chilling with my family, man. And if you're gonna take that time away from me, it's got to be beneficial. Like, it's got to be something that is a good look for me and actually is a good look, not you just telling me it's a good look, or it's profitable, right? And that's hard to say because like it's like I'm not at a point where I can say, yo, give me $500 and I'm going to come through, but just make it worth my time, man, right? Like even if it's an exchange of a commodity, you know what I mean? Maybe you got a connect that can shoot a video for me, or you got a producer that can hook me out with some beats. Like, at least do some kind of commodity exchange. You know, it's not just like, yo, come open for me for nothing. Add a value to what you think I am as an artist, right? So I just think it's got to be different, right? If you want me out the house, man, it's got to be something different this time, man, right? Because even just like, even though you know your music, you still got to put a little process into making sure that you're ready, and you know what I mean. And if you're not a good freestyle artist, like I consider myself pretty decent at freestyling, then I can fumble. I've always done it, man. Like it's part of it.
But that's you though. That's what makes you an MC, and that's what would make you a solid like rap, like a class artist rap opener for like that kind of shit. That's where I don't fall in. That's where I would rather do. Like I would much rather go for like something that's more melodic or something that's more pop. Just because it fits to who I am now. And I hated having to fit into that rap category because I was like, I can rap. I know I can rap, but it's more than that for me now. So it's like I don't want to just open for a rapper or, like you said, like an R&B artist just because. And like, although R&B probably would work well now for me, but like I don't think Lloyd would fit well though.
No, man.
Such an odd one, bro.
You know what though, man? I'll tell you though, because this was a long time ago, man. This is like over 10 years ago. Was it 10 years? 2000?
I feel like it's like by Red Fox, wasn't it? The Red.
No, this was Halifax Forum. But that night, so I had some CDs done up, right? And I was selling T-shirts around this time, man. Like I was going full blown merch baseline, right? And so then my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, was in the crowd, and she was handing out CDs and all this stuff, right? And she was just giving away for free because it's just promo. That's what you did, right? Yeah. And so then this girl was jumping up and down like, "Oh my God, I love him. Thank you. Oh, he's the best." And she's like, "Yo, chill down, chill out." You know what I mean? So it's like when being a fan goes wrong, right? But it was just like, it was a weird night, man. You know what I mean? Like, it was cool to be on a big stage, but like I learned then that when I talk about like, yo, it's not a hip hop province, and I learned it that night because when rappers do sound check, they don't really do. It's not as needed as saying like it's a full live band. Yeah. So when we came to do sound check, they didn't have like anything ready for us. They weren't expecting to hear a bunch of rappers rap over their vocals. Like, so a lot of the sound was crap for the rappers because like the end audio guys are used to like live bands, and then so they weren't used to all this stuff. And man, it was
Right.
just a whole different experience,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And that's also a shitty thing. Like the sound guy can make or break you in live
Yeah,
shows too. Cause like what I've come to realize is that like I've also learned that to be best friends with the live, make sure you would introduce yourself to the live
yeah.
the engineer that's doing the show, because they will literally either make your night a living hell or completely make you sound like you should and look after you.
Yeah, no,
So
100%.
but and knowing the audio engineering side of things kind of helps too. But
No, big time.
yeah. uh I know you did, you basically covered this and you say you don't have much time, but free time if you have it, favorite pastime, what do you do when you're not making music or yeah,
I
I
would
know it's family,
say,
but
yeah, no, that's family time. Then you have the chill time, right? It's like,
yeah.
trust me, man, you're gonna learn these things, man, right? It's
Yeah.
like, you hit me up, man. You got questions, yeah, trust me, man. Like, but
Oh, it won't be a stranger.
no, man, trust me, man. Like, it's blow me up, man. It's like I'll be able to answer. I didn't know I was gonna be an encyclopedia, and I get it now when people have kids, right? How they think they know everything, right? Yeah, I'm in that club now. But
Yeah.
the no, I'm in TV, video games, same old, man. Right? Music
Yeah.
is the spare time, you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
it's that's pretty much it, man. Just relaxing, catching some sleep when you can, because trust me, you're gonna have to sleep when you can, man. Right?
I'm hearing that too. I've been hearing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. As we come to the end of things, usually like to touch on the whole subject of party on a Sunday. So, favorite Sunday jams, either your top 3 or your top 3 right now that you
Top
would put
three right
on a
now.
Sunday. It's like it's either hangover to get you over the like to get you started for Monday, or just some good vibes, or what have you. But like your Sunday
I would
jams.
Sunday jams is it's tough, man. I don't drink as much anymore, but
That's
when
fair. I don't
I
either.
I used to always, man, listen to Taylor Swift when I was hungover, man. I don't know, man. Like, just going through the YouTube catalog, Taylor
I
Swift got a
like
couple of bangers,
legit.
man.
I thought you were just gonna say nah, just playing, but you
No,
literally just dropped the
no,
Taylor
dead
Swift
ass, man. Like, no, for real, man. Like, it's like, so my wife yelled down one time. I was like, "What are you listening to?" I was like, "I'm just jamming on some YouTube, man." Like, but no, I'll check on a playlist, man. Like, honestly, I'll just stick on like an R&B, anything current. I'm always looking to hear some new stuff. So usually, but if I'm getting into cleaning mode, man, Trey Songz, man, Trey Day, I'll chuck on the whole album. That's just
Yeah.
like a staple in my house, me and my wife relationship. Like, that's one of our classic albums would stick on and both be singing along and stuff. But usually just throwing some R&B, man, and that's it. Yeah.
So who's your go-to artist? Like, who's one of the newer artists now that you would say you listen to a lot of? Or do you? This isn't even on the list, but that just came to mind as you were saying.
I would
R&B.
say, you know what, man? Like, there's an R&B guy named Vito who's nice, man.
Yeah.
He's kind of very like Eric Bellinger, if you're familiar with him.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe. Honestly, man, I don't really dig into too much new stuff. Like, if I find it, it's because it's on a playlist, essentially, right? But there's, you know what? There's this dude. I don't know if it's Sheffy from Toronto, man. He's actually like hard as shit, man. Like, he's he's a rapper, but he's like real, like, kind of like when I look at Toronto, I consider it like the Screwface capital. He's the old school kind of like hard, like Toronto bop.
Okay.
He's nice, man. But I don't know if he's young or new. He's not even like, I don't know if he's popping or not, but man, I like digging in and finding those random Toronto mans, man, right? Like, yeah.
Fair.
But no, man, just playlist, man. That's pretty much, if I find somebody, chuck them on a playlist. I stick with it. I'm still in the school of like Meek Mill, Drake, like Rick Ross. I'm still listening to like a lot of that stuff, right? So
yeah. Well, I've stumbled out like on a lot of shit lately. Like the Blueprint 3 for me has been in rotation right now, and like that came to mind. Like I remember exactly when I heard it for the first time in like my first year of university, and it's like, this shit's game changing. But it was Jay, so I mean, of course it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just I listen to it now. It's like I remember why I was listening to it, because I'm like, some of this shit's just like how did he even think of doing this kind of stuff with what he was doing at the time? And
Yeah.
but
No, Jay's nice, man. He's got you spend a lot of time going through his catalog.
yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah.
All right. Although we may not be able to come up with, I'm sure you can come up with top 5 artists right now for you, no matter the genre.
Top 5 artists right now. You know what? I'd say Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
I don't know why I forgot him when I was talking about him, man. Jack's nice, man. I've been digging to him.
Yeah.
Hate it or love it, man. Tory Lanez, man. Like he's been going hard, man. Right. And like it's like we'll see what happens, you know what I mean? But like he's been grinding. Let's go Drake. And this is what I'm currently listening to, like current people, like top 5. Like this is not my top 5 greatest of all time. Let me explain that to you, man.
I've tried to do that, and I was like, for people to name their top 5 all time, sometimes they just get stumbled on it. So I mean, it's easier to pick 5 right now, because that's what you're listening to, right? So
yeah, easily. Yeah, so I go Jack, I go Tory, Drake.
Yeah.
Who else would I go with? I would go with St. John.
Nice.
Who else is on? There's another nice R&B cat, man. I was listening to. I was nice. Can't remember his name, man.
You know
what is that? No, man. It's Young Blue. Like I don't know why, man. I've been digging into his I've been digging in his catalog. Yeah. I've been digging into his stuff a little bit, right? Going back to like, but no, he's nice too, right? But that's just a rough. Like that's what you'll find any given day, right? Yeah.
And last drilling question as far as those numbers go: favorite song of all time, no matter the genre.
All time, no matter the genre.
Everybody's got that one go-to. I know you do, because I have one go-to.
Yeah. I would say Just Gotta Make It, Trey Songz.
Trey Songz comes back again.
Yeah, Just Gotta Make It. You know me, man. Anybody knows me, like personally, like I'll be like, we'll be 4 a.m. drunk at a house party. I'll just throw on the whole album, man. But no, yeah, I'd say, Just Gotta Make It, Trey Songz.
Again?
Yeah.
Playing this again?
Oh yeah, don't give me the ox, man. But I'd probably be that's probably up there. There's probably more I can think of, but off top right now, if I probably listen to it once or twice a week, right? Easily, if not more.
Fair. I don't know if I asked you this. I thought I did earlier. Why baseline?
Yeah. So this one is basically, I used to be called, my first name is Robert, and then my mom and uncle used to call me Rob Bass, which is old school rapper Rob Bass, DJ Easy Rock and all that stuff, right? And so then I just couldn't take that, and so then basically just turned Rob Bass into Baseline and all that stuff with a couple buddies, just shooting back ideas of what my name would be essentially. But yeah, that's
it does suit with the music too, though. I mean, Baseline, right? So
to the point, right from the jump, you know what I mean? Like it's just like right, like, so
it's funny because like I thought I asked that earlier, and I feel like I must have just missed it. And it was like with the origin story, I thought I tapped into it, but I can't remember the interview it was or who it was I was watching, but they were just like, how did you come up with your name to somebody? They're like, I just made it up. Like everybody tries to give this like whole like crazy story about like how they came up with the name. It's like, nah, I was just sitting in the room, jotting around top 5 ideas, and Baseline was the first one I got. Well, that was like epidemic, right? And it was fucking trying to explain that every interview, or not every interview, but like when they asked me why, and I was like, do I really have to? I mean, but that, and then marked, I guess, is another whole conversation. But at the same time, it's first name, middle initial. I had to make it unique, so it worked. So
I liked it, man. I saw Mark pop up. I was like, what is this guy doing, man?
It's a change, and man, like adapting with that shit is like rebranding this late in my, like, not even late in my career. I can't even say that shit, but like rebranding at this point it's a whole new ball game. It's like starting from scratch all over again with the same fans, but convincing them that this is still me.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, weird, bro. It's weird.
Yeah.
We do a little game of this or that just for the people. Rapid fire, kind of like off the top. It's one or the other kind of deal.
Yeah.
So, favorite pastime or music?
Pastime or music?
Yeah. Well, I
I would
guess music
say,
is it, right?
yeah, I'd say probably music, 100%.
When it comes to listening, underground or mainstream?
Mainstream, man. As much as I want to say underground, I
I was
love underground.
expecting the
Yeah,
underground.
yeah.
I was
Nah,
expecting
mainstream. I like a good like radio hit, man. Like I like it,
fair.
like Lil
Fair.
Nas X, man. Industry baby, bro. That's my jam right now, man. Honestly, man. Like it's like
Fair.
so. I'm a sucker for that stuff.
When it comes to music, creating or performing?
Creating
When it comes to listening, singles or albums?
singles,
When it comes to creating singles or albums?
singles. Yeah,
Fair. New music or classics?
both. I like a mix, man. I like I said as but you know what? If I got to choose one, I'll say new.
Fair.
Yeah,
Travel or homebody?
home,
Morning or night?
morning,
Summer or winter?
winter.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like to
Very few have sided with the cold, but
free workout, man. It's East Coast, man. You gotta be built for this.
uh, fame and fortune or cult like fan base?
Cult like fan base. Yeah.
And for the culture, Biggie or Tupac?
Tupac.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. So, as we wrap this interview up, why do you think music is so important to you? I know we kind of talked about this before, or
Yeah.
it was either at the beginning of the interview or before the interview, but why do you think music is so important to you? Like making it, or even just in your life?
I would say at this point it's like a piece of me, right? Whether I release music out to the world, whether I keep it on the hard drive, whatever, right? It's a form of expression that I continuously try to get better at and all that stuff. And there's not too many things in life that you try to get better at. Like if once you're good at something, you're usually good at something. You don't continuously try to like kind of perfect it. Well, I guess some people would, but like it's just the main constant since I was young. It's this thing that's always been there. It's almost like a support system.
Yeah, it's
That's
reliable.
essentially right. It's reliable. You could always know, you had a tough day. You can either lay on the couch and sit there and suck about it, you know what I mean, eat your feelings away, or you can go in the booth and write some shit that just fucking get it out, and then you don't got to wear that weight on you the next day and all that stuff, right? But I would say that's probably the biggest piece is that it's a consistent stress reliever, man. It's a way to get how I'm feeling out across, right? But yeah,
fair enough, man. I can't hate on that. End of the day, when all's said and done, how do you want to be perceived as a person instead of just an artist?
just a good solid dude, man. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm that now. Like like not to like boost myself up or whatever, but like
yeah,
just being somebody that like, you know what I mean? Like my boy can hit me and that he's gonna get that solid advice from me. He's gonna get that honesty from me, but he knows it comes from a place of respect and love for that person. You know what I mean? So just being a good solid person, you know? Yeah.
fair enough. And I mean, it's nice to hear, and I say this every time, but it's nice to hear the individual response to that, because it's either like very specific, very general, or just straight up. Because it's like at the end of the day, that like I want to know what, because I think it kind of defines your values too, in short term that way. So
no, for sure.
yeah. All right, this is the time, I guess, for you. Well, I mean, we didn't really talk about the new album or anything like that. We can talk about that another time, I'm sure, when it
no
gets
worries.
closer to the release date and everything. But
100%.
this is your time to drop any socials, any other business ventures, side hustles, or the new music, where they can find you and everything like that. Floor is yours, bro.
Yeah. New video dropped tonight, actually. Long Way. Shot by my brother-in-law. On YouTube now. Go look it up. Long Way Baseline. The album, Lost Legend title. Once you hear the album, it's really going to connect with you. It touches on everything kind of how we talk about now. That's coming September. I want to say middle of September. It's pretty much done. It's going to be an EP. I just want something quick. Just get my feet back out there and all that stuff, right? But the main thing is just keep pushing music, and you can follow me on Instagram at baseline2k. I don't really open up the Facebook and all that stuff. You might get a friend request, but I ain't gonna accept it. That's for family. That's for family and close friends. You know what I mean? But
I feel that.
yeah.
I feel that.
That's it. Lost Legend coming soon. Long way out now. Instagram baseline2k. That's basically all I got going on in my life.
Fair enough, man. Hey, I mean, short and sweet. It works. It doesn't leave room for confusion. So
yeah.
Good shit, man. Good shit. This has been a solid conversation. I mean, I wanted to talk more because we had talked about it too about Connor, but we can talk about that after this. And so the people know we are working on something for not just his memory, but we're working on something for the people, for Dartmouth, to memorialize him in a whole different way, and bring light to his music, to his family, to everybody that still needs recovering and everything like that. We got some plans.
Yeah, no, we're definitely gonna talk about it, man. Connect with the right people and all that stuff. See what we can do. But Connor was a good dude, man. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Without a doubt. Likewise, but I mean, good dude too, bro. And I appreciate you for hopping on this interview with me. It's, I mean, I don't like even saying interview anymore because I feel like by the time it's all over, it feels like it's just a conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
But I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Keep doing your thing. I'll be checking the video after this interview for sure.
Yeah.
But
no, appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, and I'll be looking for that EP too, because you always have a way, whether this opens up a whole nother conversation or not, you always have a way either flipping the way that your rhyme schemes go. And I always try and catch it, because you sometimes follow the regular rhyme scheme, but then you do the Royce 5'9" style.
Yeah, you know what, man? I heard this before too, man. Is like, and it was a couple other people told me this, and I was like, I don't see it because I just write how I write, you know what I mean? But like it's but the not, you're gonna like this, man. Trust me, I got some okay. I'm gonna fuck it up, man. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm excited to show this one. Yeah. But you know what, man? You keep doing what you're doing too. I see you're here staying active, man, and like even just doing the podcast thing, and I know doing the streaming on Twitch and all that stuff, right? But it's super important to stay out there and in people's faces. So keep going at it, man. You know, you got my support, brother.
I appreciate it, bro. I really do.
Yeah,
man. Well, till next time, this has been another episode of Party on a Podcast. I'm yours truly, Marked. That's MARK''D. Mark Souls on Instagram. Basically, find that anywhere. It's Google Mark Souls. You know, you'll find it. But Baseline, it's been a time, and
likewise.
Till next time, my dude.
Yeah. Appreciate it, brother. All right, man.